We're working on an eccentric deadlift with a pause and control on the way up. The trick here is we're going to add a yoga block or something with 4 to 6 inches of width to it. Something that's going to really stick your knees into hip width, so that may be more than 4 to 6 inches for some of you. So we're going to tuck that there with the goal being of keeping the toes pointing forward and not letting them roll in toward one another. We're keeping the knees facing over the toes while applying pressure into this block. So as you squeeze into the blocker or ball or whatever you have to put between the legs, you should feel that the large inner thigh muscles or the adductors really turn on and kick in. So the goal here is that we're keeping that pressure, that resistance, squeezed in efforts to almost take the legs and squeeze them in an outward motion. That's the angle that you're creating as you squeeze into this block. And then we're going to take a really slow, eccentric motion downward, reaching for the toes, keeping the back flat, abs are active, and then we're going to pause a few times on the way up. Coming up, and up, up, and then stand. And again, 4 seconds down. Abs are tight. Pause, 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 and stand. Back is staying flat through the entire motion. Toes are staying forward. We're squeezing the legs in toward one another, but not rotating them in. Taking 4 seconds down. Abs are active, glutes are squeezed, hamstrings are on stretch. And pause, 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 and pause. Make sure that you're keeping the shoulders pulled down, back, and away from the ears throughout. 4 seconds down. Pause, 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 and stand. 4 seconds down. And pause, 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 and stand. Great work. So now we're going to get into some eccentric pause squats with controlled positioning throughout. So we're looking at abdominal control, control in the knees, hips, feet, ankles. So we can use a little bit of a weight, bringing it to a front rack position. A kettlebell would work perfect too, and just kind of holding it in that goblet squat position. So we're looking at keeping the toes pointed forward, the knees pressed out against this band, and we're sinking straight down. So thinking about taking the hips back for position 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So pieces that we're considering within this squat is that your weight is resting equally between your right and left leg, that the knees are consistently pressing out into the band just enough so that you'll feel that the arches of your feet are staying lifted and away from the floor, and your glutes, like your outer butt, is really kicking in and turning on. So we're coming down 1, pressing out, abs are staying tight, hips are going back, elbows are staying high so that our eyes can face relatively forward to where our cervical spine is in line with the rest of our back. So you're not cranking and looking upward to squat, right? We're keeping our eyes neutral. 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. So looking from the side, you see my hips are going back for position 1. Abs are pulled in. 2, 3, 2, 1. Up. 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Give it a shot. So now let's look at combining these two movements. So we're going to take a slow eccentric and concentric deadlifting movement, pulling it up into this nice front rack position, keeping elbows high, and then slow into an eccentric squat, and then coming out of that squat just as slow. So we're going to start toes pointing forward, knees are pressing out against that band just to give the hips a little bit of an external rotation force so that the glutes are turned on. Arches are lifted and high, abs are active. So we're taking the hips back, reaching down, And coming up, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Hips are going back, abs are staying tight, elbows staying high, spine is neutral. Movement is slow and controlled. Feel the weaknesses. Allow your body to show you if one side is stronger versus the other. Allow your body to show you where your range might be limited and work into that rather than taking